This courtroom hearing is not just about sentencing, it's about control, obsession, and the consequences of refusing to let go. A 24-year-old man stands before Judge Boyd, facing serious charges after a volatile breakup spiraled into fear and intimidation. What started as a failed relationship quickly turned into something far more dangerous. Prosecutors reveal how the defendant allegedly sent threatening messages and explicit videos. Not just to his teenage ex-girlfriend, but to her family members as well. The threats weren't emotional outbursts, they were deliberate acts meant to intimidate and retaliate. As the court listens, it becomes clear this wasn't a single mistake, but a pattern of behavior that kept escalating. The most disturbing moment comes when the victim describes meeting the defendant in a public park, believing he simply wanted to talk. Instead, he allegedly stole her phone, opened his trunk, and revealed a shotgun, an encounter that left her terrified and unsure if she would make it home alive. Even after being arrested and released on bond, the warnings meant nothing. On the very same day, he violated a no-contact order by messaging her again. Standing in court, the defendant claims he has changed. He says he's older now, works full-time, and has moved on with a new relationship. But Judge Boyd isn't convinced. The judge questions whether real growth has taken place, or if the danger simply went quiet. In the end, this case becomes more than a sentencing. It becomes a message. A reminder that words, threats, and actions carry weight, and when boundaries are ignored, the justice system will step in. As the sentence is handed down, the courtroom falls silent, leaving one final warning echoing loud and clear: this behavior ends here.
Because this defendant contacted the uncle, made some, and this is part of State's Exhibit Number 1 that was already given to the court as part of this plea bargain agreement, left a message where he was threatening retaliation against Jade Olguin. They had been in a dating relationship. They were no longer in a dating relationship. Also in that threatening message, videos were attached. One of the videos attached was her before the defendant had reached out again to the same victim, Jade Olguin, saying he needed to talk to her. She agreed to talk to him because he said he was going to hurt himself with a shotgun. She is with another female. They meet at a park. When they're at the park, he takes her cell phone from her. He starts scrolling through her cell phone and walks away. She tries to get her cell phone back from him, and he's walking towards his car, and he says, "Look what I got." She didn't know what he meant, and he retrieves a shotgun out of the trunk of his car. It alarmed her. She said she feared for her life. He also displayed the shotgun, threatened harm to her. That is the terroristic threat. He's arrested for that offense. As part of that offense, there's supposed to be no contact with the victim. As I earlier told you, he was booked in March, released May 20th on 2019. On that same day he was released, May 20th, 2019. He's charged with violation of the bond conviction, violation of protective order. Jade Olguin calls the police, shows the police a screenshot from her phone where this defendant private messaged her, contacting criminal history.
Oh, yeah.
It shows there's 4 cases in Bexar County, but the terroristic threat was inputted twice. So these are the only cases that he has. He has no other criminal history. This is all from a very bad breakup. Just wouldn't let go. She was 18 years old when all of this happened. When those very explicit videos are sent to her dad and her uncle, she's being threatened with a gun. She's being contacted after he's been ordered by a court not to contact her. The plea bargain in this case is a cap of 12 months state jail. I think 12 months is appropriate in this case. Also, no contact with the victim, Jade Olguin. And Miss Jade Olguin is not present in the courtroom today. She just wanted to be notified as to the sentencing, so there will be no victim impact. Defense,
Your Honor,
with regards to the capital 12.
my client has taken responsibility. There is no more contact with the young lady. And speaking with him, he has made it abundantly clear that he understood that this was not a smart move on his part, that it was rather childish, rather dumb, and he basically knows better. He has moved on in his life. He has other people that he is now seeing. His mother was here at the last hearing. They're very concerned about him. They do love him. Nobody wishes anything wrong on Miss Holguin.
Is there anything you wish to say?
Yes, just that.
Just one moment. Let me have you raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, you can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record?
Kevin Johnson.
All right, what did you want to say?
Just, I know what I did was wrong a couple of years, regardless of how long it was ago. I know that it was wrong and I shouldn't have done it. And since then, I think I've become a better person. And I mean, I have a new girlfriend. We've been together almost 4 years. I work every day, Monday through Friday. Just overall, I think I've been a better person since then. And I know what I did was wrong, and it was just a dumb teenager thing to do.
Right, how old were you when this was going on?
20, I think. 20, almost 21. No, I'm 20, turning 24 in September.
I still don't understand why young people themselves in intimate moments.
It's just a dumb high school college thing to do. I'm mature.
And then I don't understand why I'm assuming that you love this person, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
I'm assuming that you love this person?
At one point in time, I did.
So, and I'm assuming that even after the breakup, you supposedly loved this person?
At one point in time.
And you were trying to, I guess, have the relationship continue, even though it had ended?
But just, I guess, in a way, there's no really explanation.
So I don't understand why you had a big issue with letting go. I mean, when someone tells you your relationship is over, you need to move on. If you want to go in your house and cry over it, then you go in your house and cry over it. And, smile even though, as the song says, smile even though your heart is breaking. And then go to your house and cry. But I don't understand. I've read the police reports and the stipulations in this. I don't understand why you couldn't let go. And honestly, I don't even understand with this new relationship, if she were to decide to break things off with you. I'm not saying she will, because I'm not in your relationship. I don't even understand why your behavior will be any different.
I believe it because I'm not the same person. I think for the most part, at one point in time, I did have a problem with my anger. But since then, I mean, I'm not an anger person anymore.
What have you done to improve your anger issues?
Changing people I've hung around, who I put myself with, who I associate my time with, and just that kind of stuff. Certain family members don't talk to anymore. Just that, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of, and then just talking every day about my problems rather than. But
anger is your reaction to situations. So I don't understand how you're just saying. It appears to me, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. It appears to me that you're just saying that I don't put myself around people who may anger me. It doesn't appear that there's anything that has changed about your getting angry.
When I'm getting angry or something that upsets me, I just talk about it rather than not talking about it and getting more angry. That always seemed to be my problem before. When I would be upset, I would just let it be upset and then make myself more angry rather than talking about it.
For a lot of the reasons that State has pointed out, his age, his record, I think he's acknowledged that he understands and takes responsibility for everything he's done. I would ask for leniency to allow him to demonstrate to the court that he can be a different person. And even when he gets out, he will still be under the control of the state for a while. So we would ask that the minimum be considered, Your Honor, and given to him.
All right. The court will sentence you to 10 months in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served, and that credit will include a total of 23 days. All right. Good luck to you. We can go off the record. Mr. Johnson. All right. So at some point in your life, you may have children. It may be a daughter. It may be a son. I hope that you will speak to them about this issue so that they won't do the same thing. I can tell you that the person that you supposedly love, you shouldn't do hurtful things. Even when they break up with you, you're just supposed to move on. Maybe write a letter. Will you take me back? But then if they say no, then the relationship is over and you call it a day. If you would not have sent videos, which again, I don't understand why children do that, you wouldn't be in this situation. If you were to just destroy the videos, you wouldn't be in this situation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I know you may think, curses, I'm going to be locked up, but take that as a time to internalize. And whatever you do, and I forgot to add this part, there's to be no contact with the complainant whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If there's nothing else from either side, then you're excused.
This courtroom hearing unfolds like a slow-burning warning about what happens when obsession, anger, and control are left unchecked. At the center of the case is Kevin Johnson, a 24-year-old man standing before Judge Boyd, awaiting sentencing for terroristic threats and violating a protective order. What brought him here isn't a single bad decision, but a chain of actions that escalated after a volatile breakup with his 18-year-old ex-girlfriend. As the hearing begins, the courtroom is quiet, but the weight of what's about to be discussed is heavy. Prosecutors waste no time laying out the background. After the relationship ended, the defendant didn't move on. Instead, the breakup became the spark for a series of threatening and disturbing behaviors. Messages were sent in anger, filled with retaliation and intimidation. But these weren't limited to the victim alone. Explicit videos and threatening communications were allegedly sent to her father and uncle as well, dragging her family into the situation and amplifying the fear. According to the state, this wasn't emotional venting, it was deliberate harassment meant to assert control and cause distress. As the court listens, the tone becomes increasingly serious. The prosecution explains that the defendant's behavior showed a pattern of escalation. What started as messages quickly turned into something far more dangerous. One encounter, in particular, stands out as the most alarming moment in the case. Under the pretense of wanting to talk things through, the defendant met the victim at a public park. She believed it would be a conversation, maybe closure. Instead, she says he stole her phone, walked to his car, and opened the trunk to reveal a shotgun. In that moment, she feared for her life. The courtroom grows tense as this incident is described. The park, a place meant to be neutral and safe, became the setting for terror. The victim had no phone, no immediate way to call for help, and no idea what the defendant would do next. Prosecutors emphasize that this wasn't an accident or misunderstanding, it was a calculated act that left a young woman terrified and traumatized. The presence of a weapon changed everything. Even after this incident, the warnings didn't stop. The defendant was arrested and later released on bond in May of 2019. With that release came a clear and direct no-contact order. The rules couldn't have been simpler. Do not contact the victim in any way. But according to the court, those rules were ignored almost immediately. On the very same day he was released, the defendant sent a private message to the victim, violating the protective order without hesitation. This detail catches the judge's attention. The speed of the violation speaks volumes. It suggests not confusion, not forgetfulness, but a complete disregard for authority and boundaries. Judge Boyd listens closely as this timeline is laid out, his expression serious. The court isn't just evaluating past actions, it's trying to determine whether the defendant poses a continued risk. When it's time for the defense to speak, the tone shifts. Kevin Johnson addresses the court, presenting himself as someone who has grown and matured since the incidents. He tells the judge that he now works a full-time job and has been in a stable relationship for the past 4 years. He claims that the person standing before the court today is not the same person who made those decisions years ago. According to him, he has changed his social circle, distanced himself from negativity, and learned from his mistakes. But Judge Boyd isn't easily persuaded. The judge begins to question the depth of that claimed growth. Changing friends, the judge points out, is not the same as addressing deep-rooted anger and control issues. Judge Boyd expresses concern over the defendant's inability, at the time, to let go. The judge notes that real change often requires accountability, counseling, and professional intervention, not just time passing. As the discussion continues, Judge Boyd reflects on the seriousness of the behavior. The threats, the weapon, the immediate bond violation, all of it paints a picture that cannot be ignored. The judge makes it clear that the court is not just punishing past behavior but attempting to prevent future harm. The focus is on safety, especially the safety of the victim. The prosecution asks for a 12-month cap, emphasizing the severity of the actions while acknowledging the time that has already passed. The defense, meanwhile, urges the court to consider leniency, arguing that incarceration would undo the progress the defendant claims to have made. The tension between accountability and rehabilitation hangs heavily in the air. Judge Boyd takes a moment before delivering the sentence. When he speaks, his words are measured but firm. He acknowledges the defendant's statements but makes it clear that the court cannot overlook the pattern of behavior. Ultimately, the judge sentences Kevin Johnson to 10 months in a state jail facility, giving him credit for the 23 days he has already served. The sentence is slightly below the prosecution's request, but the message is unmistakable. As the courtroom absorbs the decision, Judge Boyd delivers a final admonishment that resonates deeply. He tells the defendant that this time in jail should not be wasted. It is not just punishment, it is an opportunity to reflect, to understand the harm caused, and to internalize the seriousness of his actions. The judge warns him in no uncertain terms that there is to be absolutely no contact with the victim going forward. None. Ever. The final moments of the hearing are quiet, but powerful. This case becomes more than a sentencing, it becomes a reminder of how quickly unresolved anger can spiral into danger, and how the justice system responds when boundaries are crossed. Judge Boyd's warning lingers, serving as a clear line drawn by the court. For the defendant, the consequences are real. For everyone watching, the message is unmistakable: intimidation, threats, and obsession will not be tolerated, and accountability will always come due.